Good morning, class. Today we're going to talk about our assignment here coming up, or our lesson. And we're going to introduce this lesson with kind of branching off of our unit that we've been going on as far as talking about inventions, innovations, the innovators, and inventors. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the assembly line. We've been talking about Henry Ford a little bit, Michigan history. First off, does anybody know what the assembly line is, or what is an assembly line? Open up the classroom for discussion. Give it a proper definition. You're right. The proper definition of the assembly line is a group of workers or machines, or a combination of them, in a factory, usually in a line, that take turns doing their part until a final product is assembled. So they take turns at their stations putting things on until the final thing is all the way put together. So look at it like a car. If we're talking about Ford, you want to make cars. One guy puts on the tires, one guy puts on the steering wheel, one guy puts on the windows, so on and so forth. Just kind of made things quicker and more efficient. And efficient means doing things for less work. Now, Henry Ford, who is this? This might be, again, a couple points of recap for everybody. He did not create the assembly line. This is what we want to go over. One of the most, I guess, major topics of this lesson is he did not create the assembly line. He innovated it. Now, can someone describe or talk to me about the difference between the two, between inventing or creating and innovating? And then hopefully the discussion leads up for somebody invents something from scratch, like they come up with the first, innovated just pretty much branching off of it to make it more effective or a better product. Now, the definition of innovation is to basically make a process or an object, take an already existing process or object and make it better. So why Ford innovated the assembly line? Ford made the Model T, which we talked about, with the automobiles here in Michigan. It's a big part of our history. So Ford made the Model T, which it wasn't the first car, but it was the first car that the average person, the consumer, the Joe Schmo can afford. So it's not like a Rolls Royce or a Bentley, if you could say. Not everybody's driving around a Bentley. It's more like a Ford Focus, something that people can afford. But how was he able to make a car that was still a very new thing, new technology, so affordable? Well, that's where the assembly line and his innovation of the assembly line comes in. So by him innovating the assembly line or making it better, using that to make his cars, he was able to do it with less work, and less work equals less costs. So he was able to charge people less costs for the car. Ipso facto, cars are way cheaper to make, so a car could sell cheaper and still make a profit. Now, as we go over this, I want you to start investigating things for yourself. Now, I'm going to split you off into groups, randomly decided. We're going to work together, and there are 3 parts to this project or this presentation that you're going to come up with. Now, part 1 is that you're going to invent or innovate something. So I want you to take everything we've talked about throughout this unit, and I want you to either invent something that you think could help people in their everyday lives, or innovate something that already helps people with their everyday lives and make it better. Now, part 2, you're going to take this product that you come up with your team, and you're going to create it, or to your best ability, create a sample or a model of it using an assembly line. And part 3 is that you're going to present and defend your group's creation. So what this means is that you're going to present your final creation, your product. You're going to show us how the assembly line works, the stages, and how it was constructed. And then you're going to defend your product as in discussing with the class why you chose this product and why it's going to be better for humans on a daily basis. Now I want you to check out my example. I did a little one for you here at home. For my product, I decided to innovate some jump rope because jump rope is an already existing product. So I'm going to innovate off of it. I did not invent the jump rope because it's already a thing. Now, why did I choose a jump rope? My wife. So we have a room in our house that we use as a gym, and she complains that our gym room, the ceilings are too low for her to use the jump rope. Because if any of you have ever used the jump rope before, if you're in a room with too low a ceiling, you can hit the ceiling. Well, this was her problem, so I decided to try to take this on as my investigation. So I saw the problem and I came up with a solution. So this is going to be using our science skills, our kind of hypothesis, coming up with a hypothesis, scientific method, going through the stages and coming up with this product. So we're kind of using the scientific method here to come up with an assembly line. So as you see, we talk about transferable knowledge. That comes over from science. We use our science knowledge and our social studies knowledge. So I came up with the problem, or I saw the problem, came up with the solution, and I used an assembly line. I made drawings for everybody because I was limited space and resources at home, but this will give you a good gist. So this is my problem. This is my planning stages, writing it out on paper, what you and your group should be doing. You should have a note taker, or everybody could be part note takers and come up with ideas like this. So the problem was the jump rope hits the ceiling. So my idea for the solution was to make it shorter. My first idea, I should say. Idea number one. So the jump rope was 6 feet, about 6 feet, 7 feet long, and I decided to shorten it down to 3 feet. Let's see if that happened. Test one, it failed. The jump rope was too short. Actually, I said it hits her on top of the head. I wasn't going to have her be the guinea pig. I tried it out. So it did hit my head and it hit my legs at the bottom. It was too short. So I said, no, making it shorter is not going to be the issue, or not going to be the solution. So idea number two, I decided to pretty much not connect the strings, but use weighted balls on the end instead. So that way, the arms still get that circular motion and the G-force. Remember the G-force term? G-force will give a real workout on the muscles. So I tested that out and it was a success. So time to create my assembly line. So this is my assembly line. As you see, we have, it starts from here and goes to the end. Assembly line stages, start to finish. Now my stage one, hypothetical, is I put the grips on the plastic handles, the little foamy grips that make your hands nice and tight and grip onto the handles without sweating and slipping through. And then we go to stage two. We put the rope into the handles. That'll be another person. So one person puts the grips on, one person puts the rope in, and then the next person puts the balls on. So that's stage three. 1, 2, 3 different stages. Assembly line start to finish. Our final product with a little drawing of my wife. So now that we have gone over my example, I'm going to break you up into groups and we're going to go into your handouts and go into further instruction as far as the next steps on this project. Thank you.